Hello guys, and welcome to another video. For today's video, I'm sick and it's 1 in the morning, the day before the video needs to be uploaded, and I haven't edited anything. So, this is going to be a fun one. Some news. I have a couple of ideas for videos. The first football game for this band season was last Friday, and we were out till 1 a.m. and it was great. But whatever, I painted clouds because there were clouds at the game and they were pretty and it rained and it was wonderful. But I have to tell you about my video idea. So I found the Hollow Knight OST at some point in the past few months, and it's an awesome soundtrack. When I heard it, I was like, shit, this is on par with Undertale. I need this in my life. And so I put it on a CD and I have it in my car. It's great. So I came up with this idea because I actually want to play Hollow Knight. It's really strange. I've never actually wanted to play a video game before, but I actually want to play Hollow Knight. So I thought that I would get the game, and I would stream it like once a month on Saturdays, right? And then I would do a drawing the following Sunday, which is why I would only do it once a month so that I can keep doing random crap like I usually do, right? Sniffles are great. Anyways, so I figured I would do that, but I don't know if I actually want to do that. I don't know if you guys want me to do that, and none of you actually talk to me, but if you could, like, talk to me, that'd be great. Anyways, so, first of all, I apologize for coughing and sniffling and sneezing and sickness because I'm sick and I can't figure out why. Second, my family is upstairs watching Endgame finally after months. It's 1 in the morning. I don't know why we're watching Endgame now, but we are. So that's happening, and I apologize if you can hear them. Third, I was too lazy to write a script about anything, so we are reading EntitledParents stories today because that's hilarious, and I listen to them all the time, so obviously I need to put them on the internet. I have 2 of them, and that's what we're reading today, is what's happening, so, the first story was posted by /Shrod123, SHROD123, 6 months ago, and it is entitled, Entitled Parents Want Me to Be Punished for Her Daughter Ruining My Biology Book. As always, I'll have links to the stories in the description, but, for now, here's the story. It says, sorry if this is a lengthy one. I'll try and condense this down. This happened back in 2014 when I was studying biology. The college had just updated its curriculum from the year before, so all the old study books were out of date and were thrown away, and the new books they had ordered were in short supply. This wasn't bad. We had to share books, one between 2 on our desks, each desk housed 2 students, so it wouldn't really be a problem. Anyways, during the first day of the new school year, shortly after the theory aspect of the lesson was completed, I went to get one of the study books to share between me and my friend who sat next to me to revise. A few minutes passed, and a figure presented itself in front of us. Here enters entitled Nose Picker, though at this point I did not know of the nose picking. Going forward, she'll be referred to as ENP. She never really did any work in the lessons the year before. She's the kind of person who uses their phone throughout the entire lesson. In fact, this was well known by our old lecturer. It was a frequent occurrence that the OG lecturer wouldn't actually confiscate her phone at the beginning of classes, but this year we received someone new, so she didn't know about this. Entitled Nose Picker. Hey, can I have your book? Me. Sorry, but we're using it. ENP. But there's none left in the pile. Friend. Looks back. As the people who sit in the back, it looks like they took one each for themselves. Entitled Nose Picker then proceeds to yoink it from our table, and then replies, sorry, but I need this. You two look smart. Deal with it, before walking off to her desk. Me and my friend were literally just like, what the heck? Did this really just happen? She didn't have the right to yank the book from us. Regardless, I just stood up and asked the people sitting in the back for one of the books. They were happy to give one away. Fast forward to the end of the lesson. Once we're done, we had to put the books away into a pile. My friend decided to put our book away. While he was gone, Entitled Nose Picker walked up to me. She drops the book she stole from us earlier onto my desk and replied, thanks, now put away your book, before walking away back to our desk awaiting the class debriefing. I was fuming, but it was the end of the day. I didn't want drama. I reluctantly put the book away and thought nothing of it. This happened frequently the next 3 weeks. She would always put her books on my table. She only did this to me and my friend, no one else in class. I still, to this day, do not know what was her problem. Sometimes I would return the stolen book back on her desk, but often she would just put the book back on my table again straight after. On one occasion, I even told the lecturer about this, but Entitled Nosepicker managed to spin a lie and convince the lecturer that I was the one leaving the books on her desk. Eventually, me and my friend decided to buy our own biology books online so that we could study out of lesson and hopefully not deal with the book shortage struggle in class. No new books 3 weeks in. On the first day of bringing our own books to class, Entitled Nosepicker's friend was sick, so she wasn't in class that day. As usual, Entitled Nosepicker didn't get a book. She tried pulling the usual with me and my friend to try and extract one of the books from us. This time, me and my friend held on to our books diligently before she had a chance to get her hands on them. Me: sorry, but we paid for these books. Entitled Nosepicker: but you have 2 books between you. Stop being greedy. Me: but we paid for these books ourselves. We don't want someone else to damage them or lose them. The lecturer overheard the kerfuffle and suggested I sit next to her on her desk and share the book. I wasn't going to argue with the lecturer, so I begrudgingly agreed. As soon as I sat down at the table, she dragged the book to her side of the table and essentially hogged the book. I couldn't read shit from the pages we were instructed to go over. Me: hey, can I see the page? Entitled Nosepicker proceeds to push the book ever so slightly towards me. I can now just about see the pages. Moments pass and she pulls out a highlighter. I was deeply worried that she would start circling and drawing on my book. Guess what? She began highlighting words on the book. Me: hey, stop that! That's my book! People nearby looked at us. She started giggling and continued to ruin the book with the highlighter, but instead of highlighting words, it turned random squiggles throughout the page. This was deliberate. After she got tired of randomly drawing shit on my book, she then pulled the book completely to her side of the desk. I guess it's my book now, she said before pulling her phone out and hiding it partially underneath the book pages to text someone. This was my limit. Entitled Nosepicker refused to listen to me, so I had to call over the teacher. Me: Miss insert lecturer's name here. Can you please do something about this? Entitled Nosepicker didn't pay attention to me calling over the lecturer. She was too fixated on her phone. As she walked over, Entitled Nosepicker did the imaginable. Whilst Entitled Nosepicker was giggling about her phone, she either consciously or unconsciously plucked out a booger and rubbed it underneath the table. I yelled, "Entitled Nosepicker, what are you doing?" She turned around and stared at me with a blank face. She didn't care. Fortunately, the lecturer caught a glimpse of this as she was walking over. She snapped, "Entitled Nosepicker, outside right this minute!" Entitled Nosepicker darted outside. She was red-cheeked, looking like she was about to break into tears. The lecturer politely asked me to step away from the table as she drags it aside to look underneath it. She pulled a look of revolt. I could only assume that it was covered in fossilized snot. To add even more fire to the situation, I explained what happened before to the teacher. Me: Miss lecturer name here. Entitled Nosepicker first took my book all to herself, refusing to share, then pulled out highlighters and started vandalizing the biology book and refused to stop. She then started texting under the covers of the book pages. I pointed the highlighter graffiti littering the pages of my brand new book. She shook her head. Lecturer: let me deal with this. She walks out of class. The rest of the class lit up with chatter in her absence. Some went to look at the masterpiece table. The lecturer walks back in 10 minutes later and walked towards me. Sorry about that. I've dealt with Entitled Nosepicker. I replied to the lecturer, "What's going to happen regarding my book?" She responded, "Hopefully Entitled Nosepicker will pay for a replacement. This will be discussed later with the meeting with her mom." The class then continues and I sit back at my friend's desk. A couple hours later, I get called into the head teacher's office. The Entitled Nosepicker, still crying, the lecturer, the head teacher, and the mother, referred to as Entitled Mother, were waiting for me. Entitled Mother: "So what is Entitled Nosepicker done this time?" Head teacher: "During this morning's biology session, Entitled Nosepicker conducted multiple acts of vandalism against a student and college property. Miss insert lecturer's name here can elaborate." Lecturer: "Initially, she refused to share another student's book, and proceeded to vandalize it. I pull the book out and go to the tattered pages. Me: look here." Entitled Mother completely ignores the random squiggles spanning 2 pages. Entitled Mother: "I don't see the problem here. It's just notes she left behind on the book." Head teacher: "The student brought the book. It is his property. Besides, even if this was school property, we do not tolerate any vandalism on educational materials." Entitled Mother then tries to divert the dialogue against me. Entitled Mother: "I still don't see the problem in this. However, I'm more concerned that you are not taking action against this evil little man." She points to me. My entitled nose picker is in absolute shock in his behavior. She then points to the entitled nose picker, who is still crying. He started shouting at her and would never share his books with her. I think she's going to need help on this. He should be punished. I was in complete shock. Luckily, the lecturer stepped in. He only started shouting in reaction to your daughter's antisocial behavior. I think anyone reacts similarly if their property gets ruined, wouldn't you? Entitled mother. Excuse me? Antisocial? My daughter is an angel. I raised her right. She would never do that. Entitled mother paused. I think she was trying to calm her nerves. Was there anything else she apparently did wrong? Head teacher. She also vandalized school property. The table she sat on was covered in snot. Entitled mother interrupted. Oh, no. What lies? It was probably him who did it, not my dear entitled nose picker. Head teacher. Miss lecturer name and me observed her placing a booger underneath the table. The tensions raised considerably in the room. Entitled mother. Are you calling entitled nose picker a liar? At this point, the head teacher made me leave his office. It apparently got really toxic in there. That was the last time I heard of entitled mother. The next day, entitled nose picker was nowhere, but returned after a week or so. I'm guessing she was excluded, but she no longer attended my biology class. I received mean looks from her friend when she was back. I also never received a replacement book. Well, damn, that was quite a story. I have to be honest, I haven't read these, but, you know. We have already been going for 12 minutes and 35 seconds, so this is going to be a fun video. Let's go on to our next story, which, is by Big Chubby Finger, spelled Big Chubby Finger, no spaces, all lowercase. It's called EntitledParents Pays More for the Same Holiday. This does not go down well. This one I actually have read because I was bored and wanted to read it. And I think it's pretty okay. So, let's read it. Hey there. So this happened back in 2010. I just celebrated my 21st birthday and received quite a lot of money for it, about £800. So I decided to treat myself to a holiday. I went to the travel agents about a week after my birthday, in August, at 10 a.m. when they opened and asked about late deals. The lady searched for a minute and said, "We have a great deal departing from Glasgow to Coast at 6:30 today for £175. I immediately agreed, paid, didn't even care where Coast was, went and got my euros, then headed into Glasgow to get my clothes for my first holiday abroad by myself. I got all my holiday clothes sorted, bought a cheap suitcase, and headed for the airport way too early, 1 p.m. Thankfully, the check-in desk for my flight was with Thomas Cook, so I knew I could check in anyway. Went to the desk, got checked in, and went to overspend at the airport. After a few cigarettes, I decided to finally go airside and headed for the security line. At this point, I was barged past by a woman with an English accent who I just presumed was late for a flight, so let it slip. But no. I got to the departures lounge, and she was sipping a coffee with her kid. I once again held my tongue, always fearful of saying anything in an airport in case I'm manhandled and thrown out, and continued to my gate, which was thankfully right next to the bar. I settled down with a freezing cold pint and waited for my flight to be called. Boarding the aircraft, I was in extremely high spirits, quite drunk, but not so much that it was externally visible, and looking forward to getting my meal. Hadn't eaten since breakfast. Got to my seat, and there she is, smack bang in my seat. You already know all the initials for who people are. Entitled mother. Oh, I'm just going to sit here as I don't like sitting near the window, but my son does, so you'll be sitting in between us. Me. I don't think so. I have a weak bladder, and I've had a couple of beers, so you can move back to your assigned seat. Entitled mother. Don't speak to me like that in front of my child, or have you removed from the flight. Flight attendant. Sees that I am the only one standing. Is there a problem here? Me. Yes, this lady won't move to her assigned seat and threatened to get me kicked off because she can't follow the rules. Entitled mother. This is my seat! Flight attendant. Please move to your seat, ma'am. Entitled mother. Reluctantly and dramatically moves seats, accidentally spilling water over mine. Flight attendant. Don't worry, sir, we'll get that cleaned up for you momentarily. And ma'am, if there are any more problems from you, we will be advising the captain to divert and disembark you. I take my seat. The lady falls asleep, and her kid, like me, is a major av geek. So I give him my copy of Airliner World that I picked up prior to boarding, and we chat about aircraft. The mom wakes up, and I think she's come to her senses because she apologizes to me and explains that she's barely slept and has been stressed. I forgive her, and we start chatting a bit. It gets to how long we've been saving up and looking forward to our holidays. I openly told her that I bought this holiday as a last-minute deal this morning and got a full holiday flights, accommodation, coach transfers to and from the airport, and insurance for £175. She scoffed at this and said, "That wouldn't even cover the cost of my flight out." I reminded her that we're on the same flight, and she sees the logic, but is still acting entitled and snobby. I ignore her, eat my food, which was surprisingly delicious for something on an economy flight, and have a few beers. Arriving in Coast, I say goodbye to her and pick up my case and find my coach. There she fucking is again. You're starting to see where this is going. I head to my hotel, which is amazing. Queuing up to check in, she barges straight past everyone and demands to get a room before the cretins take the best ones. She then says she won't accept anything less than a suite because her child deserves luxury, and that is what they have paid for. This hotel is amazingly well kept, but it's a 3-star in Cartagena, so it's not exactly the Ritz. The manager explains that they don't have suites, and that she can wait her turn like everyone else. She spits, "No! You are a servant and I pay money to tell you what to do. Now give me the best suite you have, and," points at me, "don't give him anything. He barely paid for his holiday. He doesn't deserve to stay here." Manager eyes me up and I shrug. He asks for me to step forward, asks for my passport and confirmation paperwork, and says, "Ah yes, you're Mr. Big Chubby Finger. Welcome to the hotel. Here's your room key, deluxe with balcony and sea view. We've also upgraded you to all-inclusive. Please enjoy your stay." Entitled mother takes an absolute breakdancing fit as I smugly walk past her and say, "Enjoy your holiday." She got a standard twin room with a window facing the bins. She tried to make my holiday a living hell each day, but when you're all-inclusive, you tend not to give a flying fuck about these things, lol. She was eventually transferred out of the resort for becoming a nuisance. P.S. Thankfully, I was nowhere near her on the flight back and never saw her once we got off. Edit. To whoever awarded me silver, I thank you so much. Blah, 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 blah. And then he says, "And yes, I'll upload a separate r/EntitledParents about her shenanigans at the hotel at some point." So that's today's video. I hope you enjoyed my Entitled Parents and my sick voice in my ramble at the beginning of the video. It was a pleasure yelling at all of you for nearly 20 minutes, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Now it's time for a couple hours of editing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.